her child had strep in his butt.
Like strep throat in your butt?
In your butt.
First of all, I did not even know that was a possibility. And can you tell me more about how one gets strep throat in their butt?
No, I looked it up.
How old was a child?
Like 4 or 5.
How does this happen?
How? Like, did he? We're not. I don't know.
I don't even have the words for this right now.
Welcome back to Making It Awkward. I'm Jessica Wilson, dietitian and author of It's Always Been Ours. You can watch video of this show on YouTube and Spotify, and you can support the show by rating, subscribing, commenting, leaving an Apple Podcast review, and joining the Patreon. Thanks to Barbara, our newest Patreon member. You can find me on Instagram at jessicawilson.msrd. Making It Awkward is an independent podcast brought to you by people who have chosen themselves and have to answer questions about it all the time. Today, Chrissy King is back on the show to talk about being child-free by choice. We got to have this conversation in person at a coffee shop during my recent trip to New York City. Our first time together since our joint book release event for my book, It's Always Been Ours, Rewriting the Story of Black Women's Bodies, and her book, The Body Liberation Project, How Understanding Racism and Diet Culture Helps Cultivate Joy and Build Collective Freedom. In this episode, Chrissy got to share her thoughts on many things, including the marketing of parenthood, the idea of it taking a village to raise a child, and aging like the Golden Girls. We both talk about how much our moms poured into our upbringing and how that impacted how we viewed them and our decisions to have children. We talk about when we knew we didn't want children and what it's like to live in a society in which parenthood, particularly motherhood, is the norm. Our conversation is about American society and this country's reliance on capitalism and patriarchy to function. We also have conversations about elder care in ways that are likely different in countries with more government support and income equity. Society often views child-free people as a problem or a conundrum. We're regularly asked about our personal choices and judged heavily by some for making them. It's never as neutral as someone preferring a Fuji apple or a Pink Lady apple at the grocery store. And of course, today, the concern about declining birth rates and potential economic collapse amped up the discourse about our lives. Having people grow a human in their uterus and then parent it to adulthood, an action that can fundamentally change cognitive functioning, hormonal balance, financial status, independence, emotional state, and joy seems like a terrible and laughable way to solve a crisis that capitalism created. After wrapping this conversation, Chrissy and I discussed the potential backlash from this episode. And it's wild that a conversation about how we really enjoy not having children, in part because of how parenting looks amongst our friends and society, could be controversial. Either way, we'd love your feedback.
Chrissy, welcome back to the show.
I'm so happy to be here and excited for this conversation. We've been talking about this for so long.
I've been sending you reels and stories back and forth like, can you believe this situation, this fish thought, et cetera.
Yeah, really, we have so much to talk about.
I agree.
Yeah.
Question that we get asked, how did you decide not to have children?
Yeah, so I actually decided not to have children because I realized that the older I got, I never had a desire to have a child. So when I was really young, I got married young. I was married when I was 22. When I was 19, I told my partner at the time we were going to have 4 kids. Mm-hmm. He agreed. He was like, yeah, sounds wonderful. Then we got married. We were married for I don't know how many years. I was nearing 30. No children had been produced or talked about even. Hadn't even been discussed. Mm-hmm. And then the older I got, I was like, I'm definitely not having 4. That went out the window. That had long went out the window. But then I was like, even 1, actually. Mm-hmm. And then the more and more I thought about it, I was like, I actually don't have any desire to have children. I've never woken up a day in my life and was like, people have that thing like one day I just woke up and I was like, I have to have a baby. I've never experienced that.
Yeah.
And I think that when I was growing up, I never even thought like, oh, do I want children? That was never a question that I thought about. I just thought like, that's what you do. You get older, you get married, you have kids. And then I realized you actually don't have to do anything you don't want to do.
Turns out
I didn't want to do that. And so that's how I came to this realization that I have no desire to have children and I'm not going to be anybody's mother in that sense. Yeah. What about you?
I don't think I realized or made a decision to not have kids. Like I didn't. But because I never wanted to.
That's great.
It was just like the natural thing to not have children. This is wild. I remember in high school, didn't have sex in high school because what if I got pregnant? Because I would have to tell my mom because I was underage to get an abortion.
Yeah, because you're like, I have to get an abortion.
Exactly. Because what am I going to do? Raise a child?
In high school?
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Both, forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Right.
So then I get to college and like, I was reading some like Reddits and things and that people would do to make sure they weren't pregnant. So
interesting.
Birth control, condom, and then I was like, if anytime I thought like I might be pregnant, I would go like over exercise for a day to make sure.
Gosh. Like,
put it
let's just get this out of me.
Exactly. Like, let's make sure this is not a hospitable environment.
Goodness. You're like, I'm doing all the things that I can.
Exactly.
Birth control, condoms, over exercising, everything.
All of it because it's not happening. And at what point, like maybe I thought it would change my mind. Like maybe I'm too young. Definitely got the coworker who would be like, who knows, when you get older,
one day
you'll really want them. And I'd look at her and be like, you look miserable. What?
That part.
But I never did and was questioning like, was I supposed to see a sign or da da da? And then a friend of mine my age in her 40s, which I was an old college friend, ended up having a baby surprise.
Oh.
Like never used birth control. All of a sudden she was 40.
Boom.
Right. But and I was like, yeah, that didn't happen for me. And she was like, oh, you never wanted kids. And I was like, okay, that's
I was
nice.
like, always giving that vibe.
Yeah. When we were in college, I was saying I never want kids.
I love that though. Like you knew all along that like this is not your path.
No.
I love that.
And so the question that I always want to ask parents is, when did you decide that you wanted to be a parent?
Okay, so I'm glad you're bringing this up because I think as people who have decided to be child-free, we always have a question like, well, why don't you want to? I don't ever hear people saying to parents, why did you want to have children?
Yeah.
And I think this is a really important question because how many people have actually thought through, do I want a child or am I just doing what I have been socially conditioned to do? And I also think this is maybe controversial, but I think that people who have decided to be child-free, we have thought about it far more, with more intention.
Yeah.
And the people who have just decided to have kids. And I know that might be controversial, but I actually believe that's true, that we've thought about like what it actually takes to raise a child, financially, emotionally, physically, like all the things. And that actually, I don't think that's something I want to do. And I just don't think that on the opposite of the spectrum, people are like thinking it through and that, like with that much intentionality.
Yeah, and have to answer the question. Or
have to answer the question.
Or if not, having to answer it, at least being asked it. And in my head, being like, let me think about this again. The answer is no.
And also, why is it that it's not like socially acceptable for us to ask people with kids, like, why did you decide to have children?
Yes.
Right?
I had to preface it. I wanted to ask a friend, gay dad, shout out to you. I wanted to ask him about why he decided to have kids, harder to have kids. And I did, preface it with like, I can ask you this because I know you won't judge me for asking you.
Asking the question, right?
You won't think I'm being mean by asking this question. Why the heck did you want to have kids? Where, some people...
But isn't that wild?
Yes.
Because like no one thinks, oh, it's mean to ask us why we want to be child-free. But if you ask a parent, like, why did you decide to have kids?
Yeah.
You're the bad guy.
Right. 1,000%.
You're the bad guy. Like, why would you ask me that about my angels? First of all, are they angels? That's the first question. Let's start there. But like, also, why is it that it's judgmental for me to ask you that? But it's not judgmental for you to ask me why I don't want to have children.
100%.
Yeah. That's I think a big part of that is because it's like societally, like having children is the norm, right? Like that's just what you're supposed to do. So like, and choosing to be child-free, you're going against the grain somehow.
Totally.
Even though that should not be the way it is, right? But yeah, I do find that so interesting though. And I don't know, maybe we need to start like a movement. We just start like asking people.
I've thought about that, honestly.
Right? Like, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm going to go ask 2 more friends, and I was like, I will make the effort to come visit you in person so you can get my intention with this.
Yeah.
So you know that I'm just like, sounds like you're having a bad day. Why the heck did you decide to do this?
And also that part though, because listen.
Every day's a bad day? Is that what you're saying?
I wasn't going to say that. I wasn't going to say every day's a bad day. But I do think it's interesting that a lot of parents, like when you talk about being child-free online and say that I'm intentionally child-free and I love my life, people are like, but you won't know real love because you don't have kids, right? Which that's a whole other thing.
Sure.
But my whole thing is like, parents are not selling parenthood, okay?
No.
They are not selling
at all.
The marketing team is not doing a good job. And so it's really wild because like parents will be like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever done. But at the same time being talked about, like, I'm so tired, I'm miserable, I haven't slept in days, like I'm exhausted, I don't have any time for myself. And then when I say, yeah, I don't want that for me, they're like, well, how could you not want children? Hello, I have been listening to you rant
Exactly.
every day about how drained you are.
Yeah.
You're not selling it for me.
Absolutely not. And I've heard parents say, like, oh, you know, they didn't really talk about how hard it was, or I didn't believe people when they said how hard it was. And I'm like, I believed that.
I believe them. I believe them every single time.
Right.
Every time a parent says they're exhausted, I believe you 100%.
Right.
I trust you. Implicitly.
Yeah. So when people are like, oh, they didn't really tell us how hard. I'm like,
I think they did. You weren't listening.
Yeah.
They actually did say
it. Sounds terrible.
They said it so many times, in fact, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's also interesting because I think that some people somehow think they're going to be the exception to that.
1,000%.
Like, it won't be so hard for me then.
Right.
And I actually also think that the more money and resources you have, the less challenging that those things can be.
Yes.
If you can outsource a lot of it. But isn't that also interesting that in order to have an enjoyable experience, you have to be able to outsource a lot of the labor?
To not have to raise your child.
Yes. I don't know.
I'm not saying I wouldn't do it if I had the money and
I'm
actually
not saying
wanted.
I wouldn't.
Right.
But I think that is representative of like how challenging it is, right? That in order to have like a semi-enjoyable experience, you need a lot of resources. You have to outsource a lot of the actual labor of raising a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hear all the time, well, you know, I wasn't supposed to raise a child on my own. I was supposed to raise it in a village. And I'm like, were you looking around? Did you see a village before you had this child?
Yes. This whole village thing actually, I find it so interesting. I'm not going to say it irks me, but I do find it interesting because I feel like the conversation of like it takes a village happens and becomes a priority for people when they have children.
Oh.
Prior to that, I'm like, how have you been contributing to the village? In the sense of like, are you helping your other friends? Like, are you a part of the village? Like, I think this idea that as soon as I have a kid, my village is supposed to show up for me. And it's like, number one, did you have conversations with people about how you would like them to show up and did they agree to that? Because that's like very honest. Secondly, were you actively contributing as like a villager to someone else with children and their families in that capacity? And if not, like, why are you all of a sudden expecting that as soon as you have a child, all these people are just going to jump to show up for you in the ways that you want them to show up? And also unpopular, maybe, is that in order to be a member of the village, you also have to be a villager. And that means that even if you have children and the other person doesn't have children, you still have to show up for them in ways that are inconvenient, that are, you know, that maybe you don't have the energy for. Like, it has to be reciprocal. It's not just a one way. Like, you have children, so these people should be there for you. It's like, also, how are you showing up for those people in their times of, like, whatever they need, you know? And I have a close friend. She has 2 small children, 4 and 9. They're getting older. But when I think of a person who's like, I have a village and I'm a villager, like, she's the representative of that, right? In the sense that, like, yes, we live really close to each other, so if she needs to run to the store or whatever and she wants to leave the kids, like, I'll be there in 5 minutes, right?
Okay.
But similarly, when I called her one day and I was like, hey, I need a task driver, she's like, what are you trying to do? I'm like, oh, I just need, like, reinforce yourself. She's like, girl, I'm coming over with my drill. And she brought her kids with her, and the kids just sat there, and she was like, I'm going to do this for you. Like, that is how you become a village, have a village, because you also have to show up for people. And they extend themselves in ways that I've never, I mean, like, in any way you could think of. People come to town, they're staying at their house. Like, they are going above and beyond to be community members, and that's why they have a village. And I think that's the thing that people forget about sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not an unpopular opinion.
No, I mean, it shouldn't be. But
That's really insightful.
I don't think it should be an unpopular opinion, but I do think that especially when children are involved, all of a sudden it's like, well, I'm the one that's exhausted. I have all these commitments. You don't have children. You should have all this free time.
Right.
And you should really come show up for me because I need something. And it's like, you also have to be there and do inconvenient things.
Right.
For other people as well. In order to have a village and be a part of the village.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I love that. The expectations that people without children are not tired or don't have, you know, things that are that they have responsibilities. The child-free people are the ones that are going to have to work on weekends or work later.
Or pick up the slack at work. Like, all of these things, right?
Yeah.
And like that's should be expected because you don't have a family. Like, you don't, because you don't have children, that doesn't mean you don't have like loved ones and partners and friends that you want to spend time with and do things with.
Yeah, or you made a choice to not have those things.
Okay,
so
that part.
So I get to also go home and do
Nothing.
Nothing.
If I want to.
Right.
That's why I chose not to have children, because I love doing nothing. It's
Exactly.
my favorite thing to do, Jessica. Nothing.
Yeah.
It's what I would never give up nothing to raise a child. And so I
would never give up
nothing. I would not give up the ability to do nothing to raise a child. And so, like you're saying, yeah, I want to go home and do nothing.
That's my choice.
That's my choice. That's why
You chose children.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't have nothing anymore. It sounds so wild on the saying. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
You were mentioning your friend who's part of a village, and I have a friend and other friends whose children are very involved and doing all these lovely things. I had a friend tell me that she was coming back from swim class the other day. I was like, oh my God, you're swimming again. I'm so happy for you, because apparently I don't understand how parenting works. She's like, oh no, it was so, my child's class. I'm like, oh.
That's cool too.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm glad you're developing
That's
your
great.
kid, but I'm kind of worried about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I how do I say this? Like, your child just becomes the main show, the priority, and I guess I understand that to a certain extent. But I also still think, like, you are a person as a parent, right? Like, and I guess I understand that, like, time challenges and
Sure.
capacity challenges, energy challenges, but also, like, still being a person and doing things for yourself, I think is actually also really important.
My mom, I was my mother's life. Like, I was the primary thing, her primary source of, like, resource expenditure, and I hated it.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more about that.
She didn't have a life, like a strong life outside of me, which made her a boring parent.
Oh.
Like, there weren't things that were feeding into her life, or, she had, like, the news.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Right. But her being, like, happy and coming home, she'd be like, I'm happy enough with you. I'm like, you did not.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't have
I can't be
other
the only source of happiness.
Right. You didn't have other sources of joy.
Yeah.
Like, and which I could tell.
Yeah.
Growing up. So, yeah, and she wasn't taking care of her. She wasn't, like, going out and doing fun things. She used to, dance before me and all. Never happening. I'm like, wouldn't that be great if you were doing the things that you wanted to do and not chauffeuring me and not being my Girl Scout troop leader? Oh my gosh, because I didn't want that either.
I think this is so interesting that you're saying this. That's not the experience I had, but I think that's so interesting because I'm sure your mother thought that, like, this is what she should be doing.
That's
but
for
to
me.
hear you saying as a child, like, I wanted you to go do other things. I wanted you to have your own life.
Yeah.
I did not need you to be involved in every aspect of everything that I did. Wow, that's fascinating.
And my parents split when I was like 4.
Okay.
And she never dated again. And I would, like, tell her,
Go on a date.
go on a date. She's like, oh no, I don't want to confuse you about who your dad is.
Like, I'm not confused, Mom. I'm telling you to go on a date.
But I'm not, my dad is my dad. Like, we have met before. Like,
I'm not going to be confused about this.
Right? I like him a lot. Like, there's nothing, I'm not dumb.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be confused.
Oh my gosh, that is, I've never even thought about that. And I think my mom had, well, I don't think, she had 4 children, and which is a lot to me. And I don't think that she, like, I mean, actually, in some ways she did. She homeschooled us for, like, a lot of years.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
So, and then she went back to work, I think, when we all went to school. But I guess what you're saying is, well, like, I don't think I ever saw my mom, like, invest in her hobbies in a big and meaningful way. Like, she did have, like, some women's groups that she's a part of. She did do things. She was also heavily involved in church, which that's a whole other conversation for another day. But what I do know that really impacted me, and probably subconsciously I didn't realize until older in my decision to not have children, is because I did see how much my mom sacrificed of herself to raise 4 children, right? And I saw that she was always cooking, cleaning, doing all the things, and then working when she went back to work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you're doing so much. And my parents, they split when I was like 16. Up until then, like, they were married, and I still saw her taking on so much more responsibility around the household. Like, and not in the sense that my dad didn't help, but like scheduling doctor's appointments and like shopping for back to school stuff and like packing our lunches. Like, she was doing all that stuff day to day, and I was like, oh wow, this is like it is a full-time job. And I'm like, you sacrifice so much of yourself for our well-being, and while I appreciate that, I don't think that's something that I want to sacrifice for myself. Yeah.
Oh wait, but aren't we selfish for not?
So selfish. Like, how could we not want to continue on, like, humanity? Like, what's gonna happen if we don't have kids?
I know.
What if humanity ended?
I don't know. The idea, geez, that if I have a child, one who didn't like want to be here or wasn't already here, and me deciding to create something, who will then live seems differently. I don't know, maybe selfish.
So I think this is so interesting because I was watching a TikTok the other day, and this woman was talking about like how she was younger. I think she's in her 20s, but she was very much talking about like how she doesn't want to have children. She's done that for a very young age, and her mom already was like, "That's selfish. If I didn't have children, you wouldn't be here." And she's like, "I actually would have been fine with that. Like, I would actually, this experience I'm having is like, meh." I would have been totally fine if you didn't. Like, you didn't give me a choice, right? Like, and I'm not like, Mom, I'm so happy you brought me here to this, you know, crazy world.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's such like a weird thing.
If I didn't exist, I wouldn't exist.
I wouldn't know that I didn't exist.
Right.
I wouldn't mind missing out on if you don't know, if you're not here. Yeah. I think it's like, and then I think it's like, the way she was explaining it too, it becomes this weird thing. It's like, her mom is like, but I want to have grandkids. And like, yeah, like now because you decided to bring me here, and now I have this obligation to give you grandchildren. And I think this is also what happens when we're talking about this idea of being selfish and like childfree people are selfish for not having kids. I think that parents are selfish. I'm just saying, because I have never met a person who could give me reasons for having children that aren't based on their own personal desires and what they want. Like, what? Like, really? I have not met a person who could say that.
No. Well, but it doesn't seem that way, right? One of the wildest things that I've heard is that people have children in order to like reparent themselves.
That's incredibly selfish.
That's wild.
What are you talking about? That is incredible. You're gonna bring another human being here so that you can reparent yourself.
Yes.
And you're telling me that's not selfish? And listen, if that's what you're choosing, cool. But that is incredibly selfish.
Yeah. At the top of the episode, we'll say, you are choosing to have children. Fine. Yeah,
love that for you. I love that for you.
We're not talking about your experience.
No.
Yeah.
Another reason I've heard people say is like, I just wanted a little mini me. Incredibly selfish. Like, okay, cool. Love that for you too. Also though, that's only about you, right? What other reasons have people said? They just want to continue their legacy. Okay. And that's a whole nother one, especially when anybody says it, especially when men say it. Like, what legacy are you passing on? But anyways, even still, it's still about you.
Yeah.
Like, name a reason to have children that's not about you. And I think that there's like this weird thing where people like, it can't be selfish because I'm sacrificing so much to do this. And I'm like, yeah, it's still selfish, though. Like, you can be sacrificing a lot to do this thing that is incredibly challenging, by the way. And I think that is important to say. I think parenting is I think it's the most challenging thing.
1000%.
Which is why I don't want to do it. So I'm not telling people that I think you have the hardest job. One of the hardest jobs in the world. Unpaid, right? Hardest jobs in the world. So I will lead with that. But also this idea that, like, you've chosen this hard thing. And so this idea, like, I'm sacrificing so much, so I can't be this selfish. Yeah, both things can be true. You can be choosing something incredibly hard, and the reason for having it can be self-serving. Both things can exist together. Yeah.
I got a dog. It's hard.
Chose
that dog.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I was going to choose a dog. I say, I don't even know if I can choose a dog anymore. I don't even know if I can do that. And I know that that's a lot of work, too. Yeah.
If I was ever questioning getting a puppy, 1000% made me clear that I did not want a human.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I could lock this thing
and leave it in the house for a few days, or not a few days, a few hours. Yes.
Do I want something touching me and yelling in my house?
I know.
I value quiet.
Oh my God, I love quiet so much. I went home to visit my family last week because my nephew graduated from high school, which I love being an auntie. And when people say they grow up so fast, I'm like, I get it, because I was like my little baby, and now he's all grown up. But anyways, my other brother has 2 younger children, so 3 and 5. Love them too, but it was so noisy all week.
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta get back home because I wake up and there's nothing. There's no noise. It's just peace and quiet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I could not do this every day. Like, if you wake up and they're just already going, just running around, just talking nonstop. I'm like, oh no,
not for me.
Not for me. It's not for me.
Yeah.
I need my quiet.
I even feel that way about being married. And
oh my God.
Not a shock to this podcast, but when my spouse and I started our relationship, she was an athletic trainer and so gone like multiple days out of a month.
Actually really nice.
So that is how our relationship like grew and functioned.
Yeah.
Until she got a job or a position where she traveled less. And we would just be like looking at each other in the face and be like, oh, you again.
What are you here again?
You're still, this is just new. We're going to try navigating. She's been back in school and had 2 days of a job where she gets up before me and is gone.
Okay.
Yeah, and those days I wake up and it's quiet. The blender is not waking me up, you know, which is fine. Shout out to blenders and smoothies, but it's just quiet.
Yeah, I actually think about this a lot because I'm single and have been for a few years. And since I got divorced, like it's been almost 25 years. Yeah, I've lived by myself. Well, I had a roommate for 2 years, but the last 3.5 years, I've lived by myself. I don't know how I would do a relationship and live with someone now.
Yeah.
I was married for 11 years, so I've done that. But now that I'm on my own, I'm like, how could I don't know how I could go back to having someone in your space all the time. Every day you wake up, they're there. You go to sleep, they're there. Like you walk in the house, the TV's going. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
On the phone.
Yeah. Things that normal people do.
Yes. It's
right.
Just, I'm so not. So now I'm like my dream life. I'm going to marry a rich man.
Okay.
Yes. And yes, right?
Yes.
Okay, yes. And then he is going to buy us a brownstone because I love Brooklyn. And then I'm going to have my own floor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So when I want to sit, I just go to his floor, and then we'll have like most brownstones are like 3 levels, right? So he'll have his own floor, I'll have a floor, and then we'll have like a floor that's shared space.
Yes.
Right? And so then we can visit each other on our own floors, we go to the shared space, but I can wake up in silence every morning if I choose that.
Yeah.
And that's my dream. So if anybody's listening and wants to help me out with that, like there you go.
Yes. My spouse and I dream of having money, building a house that has 3 wings.
Yes.
Hers, mine, and
you
the
get the vision.
Yeah.
You get the vision.
Absolutely.
Yes. I'm like, that's perfect for me.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yours can look however you want it to.
Decorate it how you want to.
Exactly. Mine can be chaotic with all my sewing.
Yes.
Because that is one thing in a smaller house. If you take everything out to sew, somebody else lives there to do everything back in.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And I live in like Brooklyn apartments are small. I'm like, my apartment is barely big enough for me. I mean, and all the stuff I have, right? Where would a person come into my, where would they would have nowhere to put their stuff.
Yeah.
Like, where would you, there's no space for you here, just being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. We're talking about, okay.
We want to get back to Chelsea.
Also, you can get married if you want to.
Also, if you want to do that, that's cool too. That's another episode.
But, Chrissy, who's going to take care of you in your old age?
I think that is the wildest question.
Same.
When people say things like that. Because again, when we are talking about reasons to have children, having someone to take care of you should not even be on the list.
No.
Because again, that's incredibly selfish. You want to have a child so that someone can take care of you, so you envision that is your child's responsibility. Yeah. Because you sacrifice so much to bring them here.
Right.
The least they can do is take care of you in your old age. Again, so self-serving, right? So, you know, I think that when we think about that, number one, there's so many reasons that when you have children, your children may not be there to take care of you in old age.
Yes.
Number one, they might not like you.
Yes.
I'm sorry, people don't like to say it, but some people do not like their parents.
Yeah.
People have no contact with their parents or rarely see their parents, move across the country, don't visit them. Like, that happens all the time.
Move back to wherever they
never move back,
yeah.
right? So they might not like them. Your child may not outlive you. Like, people's children, I know it's like a touchy topic, but people's children die before them. Happens all the time. They might just, they could be physically disabled and unable to do it, right? There's so many reasons that your child won't be able to take care of you. And also, I don't think that anybody should put that responsibility on their children or have an expectation.
I think so,
you know?
Yeah.
And when people ask me, I'm like, well, there's nursing homes all over the country. There's assisted living homes like there every day. People are in them. Like, I think that's my plan. If I need someone, if I'm not physically able to take care of myself, that's what I'll do. Yeah. And what are your thoughts on that?
My mother had to take care of it. It was an older neighbor. My mom was the only one around. Well, didn't have to. Chose to take care of her. And after that experience, she was like, do not take care of me. Put me in a home.
Wow.
Do not do any of that.
Yeah,
for me. Close to my dad, I was like, Dad, I'm not ever changing your diaper.
Yeah, and that's fair. That's totally fair.
I want a relationship with you that does
involve that.
Right. I would like to keep a good relationship with you. And me wiping your butt, I don't think
that.
That's
not good for our relationship.
Exactly. I don't think that's gonna make it thrive in the long term. And it's interesting. I think these might be uniquely American, like individualism, like multi-generational household, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm an only child, 100% of any caretaking, but also like, do I want to live where my parents live just to take care of them?
So I think you're right. Like we in America in particular live it's very individualistic, right? We don't have multi-generational families. And this goes back to the other thing about the village, right? Like, I would argue a lot of people don't want to live in multi-generational families anymore. Maybe some people do, maybe some people don't. But it's the same thing. It's like, so much of that concept of village was your family. Yeah. And living in multi-generational families, right? And we don't do that anymore for a variety of reasons. And I think that if you're having one child or two children, especially if you have one, you can't expect the sole responsibility of caretaking to be on your one child. That, who knows, at that point, they have their own family and children as well, which is like a whole other thing, right?
Yes. What are those, the sandwich generation?
Yes, absolutely. Where you're raising children and also at the same time trying to take care of your parents. Like, that is incredibly stressful. And you talk about not having a good time, that's not having a good time.
Right. And every article I hear or read about that is how terrible a time these parents and children, same person, are having.
Yes. And I think another thing, my sister is a nurse, and so she's worked in all different types of environments. And one of the things she also talks about is like how many people who are either like in nursing homes or in hospice care, like how many of the children don't even come anyways. And it's really actually very sad, but it's like, like the expectation that your children are going to have the capacity and have the desire
and the money
and the resources to show up for you in that way, and especially like under a system of capitalism. People your kids have good jobs most of the time, right? Like they can't take off 6 months to come take care of you or come fly across the country to where you live during these times. Like it's just not feasible for a lot of people for a variety of reasons. And I think that really can't be part of your long-term care plan. I think that people with children or without children should have their own long-term care plans, and it should not involve the expectation that your children are going to be your long-term care plan.
My dad worked till he was like 77, 70. Anyhow, he was not going to like not work to take care of somebody older. Right. And because that costs extra money.
Absolutely.
He was making money to do the thing. He wasn't making any extra money to take care of something. But if we were communities that had many generations in one house, like, are those also societies that have, less requirements for capitalism, who are less, who are less capitalistic, less consumeristic, like, just are differently set up so that we're not all just trying to survive.
Yes. I mean, even what I just said, right? I said I love living by myself because I like to quiet, right? Like, that is a very individualistic, capitalistic mindset. Like, that's the truth, right? Like, if I had the option to go live with my entire family in a family compound, I'm probably... like, you guys gonna have to at least at a minimum build me my own little house. Well, I can't be in the same space with all of this. So, and I think that's the important thing too, is like everything, whatever you choose, there's a pro and a con. There's a sacrifice involved, right? You could live in a multi-generational family and then you're sacrificing your peace, your quiet, perhaps your sanity. I don't know. Right? But then there's so many beautiful things that come with that too. Or if you choose to live alone, like, I mean, I think about this is very morbid, but I'm also like, but I was choking one day. Like, there's nobody there, right? I know it's very morbid, but it's also true, right? It's the truth. And so it's like, everything comes with its, like, good things and it's, like, possibly bad things, and, like, that's the choice you have to make. And I think that goes back also what you're saying is like this idea of dying alone. I'm like, but what, do you want to die alone? Like we all
Die
most of the
alone.
time die alone. Like unless we're in a tragic car accident with our entire families, we all die together. But even then, do we know that you know what I mean? Like we don't have like this. Well, oh, thank God I died with someone. You know what I'm saying? Thank God I died with someone else.
Good
And also, like, I envision my life, you know, like the Golden Girls.
Oh, stop
Right?
it.
Like, I'm like,
That's the title for this episode.
Oh my God, stop. I
Childfree
didn't know
by
that.
choice. No. Semicolon. The Golden Girls.
Oh my God, I did not know this. Look at that.
No, you just said it.
I didn't know. Oh, you're saying.
Yeah,
I thought you said
because
you already
of
picked it out.
No.
I was like, oh my God, that's wow, cosmic.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm like, also, I just feel like I can't speak for everyone. I just know for me as a child-free woman, like cultivating friendships is like such a big part of my life, right? Like I'm never, and people are like, aren't you lonely? I'm literally never lonely.
Yeah.
Like I'm so intentional about building community.
Yep.
I'm so intentional about nurturing my friendships and relationships. I'm literally never like, oh, I'm so sad and lonely. Like I think I have a thriving community because like I value that so much. And I value like female friendship so much as well. And so I'm like, and I have other friends that are child free. I'm like, we are gonna be fine. We're gonna be just fine. And I'm like, it's gonna be like a little Golden Girls community. It's gonna be great.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes. My spouse and her friends are always talking about land.
Yeah.
Small, tiny homes.
Tiny
on
homes on the land. Like that's a dream.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because your own house is your own. And you know, then you have community spaces together.
And I think the other thing that like raising kids takes a lot of money. So like that money that I'm not spending on that, like that's money that I can think about like my long-term plans, right? Yeah.
Yes, the money part is an interesting one.
Yeah.
When I'm at parties, especially with parents and, you know, perhaps some child-free people.
Yeah.
The first question, you know, is either like, what do you do? Or, oh, do you have kids?
Always. Always.
Like, no. And then they like look at me waiting for me to say more.
Yeah, like, okay.
Yeah. Tell me more.
Tell me more about that.
And the easiest way to get out of that conversation for me is always just say they're expensive. And then the parents are like, yep.
You can't deny that.
No, that's the end of the question.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, and no one now
Yeah.
who's like in their 30s or 40s now are ever like, oh, you know, really you might want to. They're always like, oh.
No, you're right. And getting more expensive by the day, actually, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, I think about that sometimes when I get like grocery shopping. Because I'm like, I feel like I spend a lot on groceries, and it's just me. It's just me, right? I'm like, wow, this is expensive. And I'm like, you're buying for a family of 4? I don't even want to know what that grocery bill looks like. So yeah, it's like, it's expensive. And yeah, there's just like, who could argue with that part? No one can argue with that.
No, yeah, if I just don't feel like talking anymore, I'll just be like,
yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah.
Period.
But what I would love to start saying is, nope, why do you?
I honestly think that we should start this. I'm going to join you.
Let's do it at least 10 times.
At least. So when people say, do you have kids? I'm like, no. Are you going to have any? No. I'm like, oh my God, why not? And then I'm going to say, well, why do you have children?
Right.
How many? Why did you do it again?
Sell it to me.
Sell it to me. Tell me. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. The when did you know? One of the more interesting answers I got was because I was just tired of waking up and being like, oh, it's me again.
Oh, interesting.
So I wanted to, you know, spend less focus on myself.
But you actually heard them say that?
Yeah.
That's why they decided to have children?
Yeah.
Because they woke up and said, oh, it's me again?
Yeah. It's me again, but also there was a lot of love to give, which I love. I love that answer. You know, you just have a lot of love to share with someone else. And I feel like that is lovely. Like that
that's lovely.
Right. You want to share something.
With, yeah. What do you think about when people say, like, you'll never understand real love because...
I don't understand what that means.
I don't either. I'm like, what do you, is there a special new kind of love that comes when you have kids? Like, there's only a portal that's only accessible through parenthood? Like, is that the only way this type of love comes? Like, I just find that so interesting. Like, people just never understand love like this. Like, but tell me more about that. Like, how? What kind of different love is available?
Is available.
And if I don't ever get it, like, tell me what's so special about this particular time. Like, what is I'm missing out on? Like, I just think it's so weird when people say that.
And I wanted to have a family.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
I know.
What is the family?
What is it? What is a family? I love that question. What does that mean?
What is that?
Like, a family is anything you decided to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Does the family require, like, teeny things running after me and waking me up?
Family? Like, I have a family, and I don't have any tiny things running around after me. And I still very much have a family. I think it's so interesting, and I think it's really interesting too because one of the things I love about TikTok. There's so many things to hate, but there's so many things to love too. And I do love TikTok because I think it's given people an avenue to talk about different experiences, right?
Yeah.
And of course, the algorithm feeds you what you watch. So I get lots of child-free content on TikTok, and I think it's so interesting because there's two things that are always happening in the comment section. There are parents saying, like, you would never understand because you don't have kids. The best thing I've ever done with my life. Which I'm like, I think both things can be true.
Yeah.
You can be doing the best thing you've ever done with your life, and that does not mean it'd be the best thing for me. Because I know I would be a good mom. I would not be a happy mom. I would be a good mom. I had a friend say that. Would not be a happy one.
Yeah. She was like, I'm a good mom. I'm not sure I, needed to be
I don't know. I think I needed to do this to know that I'd be good at it. So it's like, it can be the best thing that you ever did for yourself. And also me not having children can also be the best thing I ever did for myself. Like, those things don't have to be exclusive, right? So there's always like a plethora of comments of being like, you don't know the joy you're missing. Like all that rhetoric, right? I'm like, I don't know. I think I spent a weekend with my nephews. I know what I'm missing. Okay? They're wonderful. And I get it. And then on the other hand, I always see a plethora of moms being like, as a mom of one or two, listen, I'm telling you, you don't have to have this experience for yourself. Like, I love my child, but if I know everything I knew now, I might not have chosen this. And so I think there's this like dichotomy that's always happening. And sometimes I wonder, when there's like, you don't know the joy, like you never understand this, is it because you just want us to join you in this experience? Do you want more of us over there? This made me think of Seth Rogen because he's notoriously child-free. Okay. And he talks about it a lot. And it's always interesting because he as a man talks about it and people are very much like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, I get it. And so he did this interview once where with Kelly Clarkson, and she was asking him about it. And he was like, yeah, I'm child-free. And she's like, oh, I have kids. They're great. And he's like, listen, he's like, I have seen a lot of parents tell me it's so great. At the same time, they're always looking for opportunity to be away from their children. And he's like, I think that he try to get me to have kids so they can join me in their misery. And of course, like, it's funny, but also, like, I think there's probably some truth there. But the reaction that he receives to saying that is completely different than the reaction that women receive. Like, if I went on TV and said, yeah, I think people want me to be a mom so I can be as miserable as they are, like, they would drag me. I would get dragged for that.
Good call.
But he says some things that I'm like, he's like, you guys aren't selling me on parenthood. Like, all you guys talk about is how, like, annoyed and, like, you can't wait to get away from them. But they're the best thing they've ever done. And again, I think both things can be true.
Right.
Both things can be true. But I just think there's a particular, like, what's the word? There's a particular, like, dislike of women who boldly and like, unapologetically say they don't want to have children that men just don't face.
Sure.
Yeah.
1,000%. And, men can have had children and not even men would still want to be unapologetically child-free, but through some experience of their own, they still don't have to raise.
They still have to raise children.
Choose not to raise that child.
Absolutely. And I think that, I'm starting to talk about this more, that I think women talking about their choices to be unapologetically child-free is scary to the patriarchy because what if more and more women were like, actually, you know what? They're right. I don't need to do this. I get to have a say. I get to have a choice. And so I think the emergence of like child-free conversation at the same time as like Roe v. Wade and like all these things this push back against women's reproductive rights. I think it's all like very intentional, right? Like we can't have these women out here saying that they are having a great time not having kids, right? Like that can't happen because then the system does not work the way we want it to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have this giant force of unpaid labor that
Who's going to
wouldn't
do the unpaid labor if we're not having children?
Exactly. And the reason that the wage pay gap exists is largely due to women, having children and either coming in late or taking time off.
Absolutely.
And then what if we were to have pay parity? What?
What do you mean? We can't have all these women out here having money and having their own choices and being independent and not choosing mediocre men. Like, we cannot have that.
Not rushing into a relationship and a marriage just to pop out a child. And then maybe you get divorced because it turns out that wasn't the person that you really thought they were. Maybe.
I mean, hypothetically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, all that to say, like, I think, I've seen people online be like, why do child-free women have to talk about why have to make being child-free their personality? I'm like, the same reason same reason people make children their personality, right?
1,000%.
You get to talk about your life, and I don't know why me talking about being child-free is triggering to people in the same sense that, like, I don't get triggered about people posting their kids for school on their first birthday and it's the same thing. So it's like we get to make that. I don't make that my personality, but like me talking about being child-free online or in any capacity is the same as you talking about being a mom or parenthood. It's the same thing. Yeah. And I think that we do need to talk about that more because when I was growing up, like I never even heard the term. That wasn't a term that we were talking about.
Childless, also.
Yeah,
like those women who don't have children.
Yeah, like lonely spinsters. Like,
so selfish.
It's so selfish.
Yeah.
That wasn't a conversation being had, and I didn't even until I was like much later in life. I didn't realize. I don't think I fully recognized that like you get to have a choice in this matter.
Yeah.
It's not a requirement. It's not a rite of passage, right?
Yeah.
And you get even marriage, relationships, whatever. None of those things are like requirements or rites of passage. And I think that the more people that are talking about it and informing like younger generations that like you get to decide, and whatever you decide is fine. Like I love the people who choose to be parents. I love that for them. I support them fully. But also, it's okay to not choose that as well. And you don't need to feel ostracized or feel like you're, like it's a viable decision for anybody to make. Yeah.
Let me tell you one of my favorite stories.
Ooh, I'm so excited to hear this.
I was in a group thread with one of my parent friends, and she was on vacation and was telling us about how her kid had butt strep.
I'm sorry, repeat that for me because I thought I heard you say butt strep.
Her child had strep in his butt.
Like strep throat in your butt?
In your butt.
First of all, I did not even know that was a possibility. And can you tell me more about how one gets strep throat in their butt?
No, I looked it up.
How old was her child?
Like 4 or 5.
How does this happen?
How? Like, did he? We're not. I don't know. Somebody's throat got on his butt. Somebody's butt got on his butt. I don't know.
Can you tell me how butt strep exhibits itself?
Yeah, how'd you know it was butt strep?
Yeah, but like, what is that? Like, I don't even have the words for this right now. Like, what are the symptoms of butt?
These are great questions. I did Google up like whether or not it actually existed because I was like, excuse me, no. She must be using a colloquial term for.
Yeah, that's not for real.
No, like butt. Streptococcus bacteria in your butt. Okay, and
what did you find when you Googled? Just like, the PG version, because I don't know if I want to know the whole thing.
It's bacteria in your butt. Like, yeah, I don't know how it gets there.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
This is so disturbing.
I'll be at it, yes. Anyhow, so after that, I'm thinking, like, a disease I had no idea existed until today. And I'm like, oh, is that what having a kid is like? It's just learning about.
What do you mean?
A bunch of diseases. And I was like, oh, the closest, relationship or the closest example in my life to that is like having a garden, and all of a sudden a leaf starts to rot, or there are pests in your garden that you
like,
had
what did this get here?
Yes,
this existed.
Exactly. And I poured all of this water and time into this garden.
And look at it now.
Right. And I get like a tomato because everything else died. Like, look at, and then, so I texted that whole thing to a friend that was also in the group chat. And I was like, so do I just get a tomato? And he's like, a tomato that resents you.
Let's take a little step further. Actually, my mind is blown right now by this butt strep thing. Because I also am like, I'm sure you didn't ask this, but I'm like, what was happening that led this person to be like, there's something wrong with the butt, and it could be like the doctor, and the doctor's like, oh, it's butt strap. Like, huh?
I assume you had to culture it, like you would culture a throat.
I don't really want to know, but I also want to know, like, what was happening back there that, like, prompted this. Like, something's not right with that butt.
You know,
That's so wild.
I'll follow up. I'll see her tomorrow, actually.
Wait, have you ever seen on TikTok the girl with the list?
No.
Oh my God, the girl with the list. You have to look her up, Jessica. The girl with the list is a younger woman. She's probably in her 20s, and she notoriously is like, I'm never having children, right? But the list she cultivates are people now tag her, and the stories just like this, like crazy things that happen with their children that you've like never heard of, you didn't know existed, and you did not know that was a possibility. And she's like, okay, adding a new reason to the list, and it'll be like the wildest thing, like butt strap, like that's appropriate for the list. And so every time I watch one of her videos, I learn that something new that happens, like during pregnancy, during postpartum, or to the child. And I'm like, I did not know that this was even a possibility, and this is even more recent, because like, what do you mean this could happen? Huh? Yes, that goes on the list. The girl with the list.
Yes,
butt strap. Yeah. Wow, that is wild.
It is.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and again, it might, that child that is supposed to take care of us, just might resent us.
You gave me butt strap when I was 4, and now you want me to take care of you? No, I'm just kidding. But they probably will never remember it, but still, wild.
Anything else that you would like to share on the topic?
What else would I like to share about this? I think the only thing I would like to say is that whether you decide to have children or don't have children, I think the most important thing is like really thinking about it intentionally.
Yeah.
There's another TikTok account called Regretful Parents, and it's mostly threads from like, well, I think she started it as like reading, there's like a whole Reddit thread of regretful parents.
Yeah.
But now people have sent in their stories about like why they regret having children. And like, I think like marriage is one thing, right? Because like if you regret your partner, you get a divorce and you just move on. If you regret your children, like that's like that's it, you know, like, and you can't, well, you could leave your child and abandon them, but like, aside from that, like, you can't undo that decision. And I think society puts so much pressure on this idea of like, what is a family, right? Like, a family means that you have a husband, heteronormative values, right? You have a husband and your wife and you have children, and that's a family. And that if you're not doing that, like, you're not doing life. And I just think I see so many women who are like wildly accomplished, like doing amazing things, like whatever. And they keep going back to saying like, but I don't have a husband and children yet. Like, I haven't accomplished life. I haven't done life yet, because like this part of my thing is missing. And I just want to be like, that is like one part of life that you can, or you could not choose for yourself. But like, that does not have to be the thing that holds you back from feeling like you're living the life of your dreams, because you haven't had that. And also, like, I think that's really important to think intentionally about what that means, and like, do I really want that? And then go for it knowing that like, also all the stories you heard, it is really hard. Like, there's varying degrees of hard, right? And everybody's hard looks a little different, but the people are not lying. Right. And it's okay to choose hard, but like, yeah, it's going to be challenging at times, and it will also be rewarding, I'm sure, full of joy, full of love, all the milestones, like things that are so, like, I have a nephew who turned 18. I helped my sister raise him to a certain degree, and that's like, you know, that's like my little guy, right? Like, that's not my son, but it's like my nephew's son, right? And I just like watch him grow up, and like all these milestones are so cool and so amazing. And I've loved every moment of being his aunt. And also, I'm like, yeah, I couldn't have raised him by myself though, right? So I think like, there's so many other ways also to parent and to be in someone's child, or be in a child's life that does not involve birthing a child yourself. So that's all I have to say about that.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming back on the show.
Thank you for having me and having this conversation. And I'm so excited for it to air. And I'm also excited to see people's response to it.
Passion is what I assume.
Yeah, passion. Yes.
On all directions.
On all fronts.
Yes. Do you want to tell people what you're working on?
Sure. Well, definitely follow me on Substack. It's called The Liberation Collective. I talk about all kinds of things. Some of this stuff, hobby stuff, random stuff. I just talk about all the things. I'm Instagram and TikTok. I am Chrissy King. And I'm working on my second book right now, which I won't say a lot about, but some of these things will be in the book. Okay. Yeah.
We look forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on.
It was great talking to you.
Yes.
Thanks so much to Chrissy King for coming back on the show. I'll link to all of her work in the show notes. If you enjoy being child-free, let us know what you love about it. You can email that to makingitawkwardpod@gmail.com. If you have thoughts on parenting for an upcoming episode, you can send them to the same email address. For parents who only have time to listen to the show when shuttling kids to and fro, I love getting voice memos from people in their cars. Hours after Chrissy and I did this interview, I watched a short video from the New York Times with various mothers and how their lives and careers were impacted by having children. The video was titled, "Motherhood Should Come with a Warning Label." And I did ask those two friends how they chose to have kids. As two people with masters in public health and who are constantly researching and applying a critical eye, they hadn't thought that becoming a parent was a choice, which truly shocked me. Because of those conversations, that video, and me needing to ask a friend about how she knew she needed to get her kid assessed for butt strep, I'm deciding that parenting needs its own episode. I hope we can normalize asking parents when they knew they wanted kids, if they thought it was a choice, and if so, how they made that choice. And if they did think it was a choice, why not? If you're asking those questions, it may be a bit awkward, but you'll get used to it. This has been Making It Awkward. I'm Jessica Wilson. You can find me on Instagram at jessicawilson.msrd. You can email the show at makingitawkwardpod@gmail.com. You can join the Patreon, which I'll link in the show notes, thanks to new members. You can rate it, you can review it, you can subscribe, you can comment on it. You can share butt strep with a friend. No, don't share butt strep with a friend. You can tell a friend that butt strep exists. Yep, that's better. This show was edited by Jen Jacobs, who both doesn't have butt strep and is happily child-free. The show is supported by the legacy of Sacramento Outboard Services.